one of the other components, obviously, this is a physical virus we're dealing with. But I think, Katie, you made a point about this being a new challenge. And I've been involved with mental health concerns myself over the last 6 years. And that's the thing I have worried a lot about is the mental health component of how everybody is dealing with. So again, you two champions. Katie, how have you talked about how you're, by the way, for those who don't know, you are on the other coast from your family. You grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. Your family's all there. You're in California. Talk about some of the things you've tried to do to combat the mental health challenge that COVID-19 has posed.
Yeah, well, I'm very thankful for technology. I've been able to FaceTime my family every day, and that's been great. It kind of feels like I'm in the room with them, and I know they feel that way as well. So there are definitely ups and downs and days where I really miss them and wish that I had traveled home earlier or things like that. But at the end of the day, I know that it's what's best, and it's keeping them healthy. It's keeping me healthy. I'm staying committed towards my goals, and they're very supportive of what I'm doing and my training and everything that I'm trying to do. So it's, yeah, I'm just staying focused on my goals. It's kind of, I was thinking about this earlier. It's almost like the first real sacrifice that I feel like I've made for my swimming or something that I know people always ask me about sacrifices I've made for swimming, and I never viewed them as sacrifices, but now it's like I spent 3 months swimming in a backyard pool. Like, I've got to put in the work now to make that all worth it, because that was just a big commitment and something that took a lot of effort to go do, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity, and so I want to make the best of it over the next year.
That's great. How much, because I referenced you are a student at Stanford, you are back taking classes. How much has that helped with the challenge?
That's been great. Yeah. I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't have that. It's the biggest silver lining out of this whole thing for me. I was taking this past year off leading into the Olympics, taking it off from classes to be able to travel and train to the max. And once the Olympics were postponed, it coincided perfectly with the start of spring quarter for Stanford. And so I was able to hop on those online classes in the spring, and then now I'm taking classes online in the summer, and I'm going to finish up my degree in the fall. So I'm going to be graduating earlier than I expected, which is awesome. And it's been keeping me extremely busy. I've been watching the news less because I've been online watching my lectures. And so it definitely creates a little more balance in my life, which I really enjoy having.
Now, Laura, I think I know enough to know 4 kids, 8 and under. That's enough of that keeps your life balanced.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I actually, and I totally understand what Katie is saying. Like, it used to freak me out if we were out of the pool for like 2 weeks, we'd have a vacation, at the end of the season, have 2 weeks off, and you came back and felt like you couldn't do anything. Like, you just forgot everything that you learned, but now I was retired for 9 years. I spent most of 2019 actually coming back from a 2-level cervical fusion. So, being out of the water now is not a stranger to me, and it's not a scary thing to me. And we were actually out of the pool for 3 months. I was able to flip in my backyard, and we were able to get back in our dryland training center in mid-May, but we were not able to get back in the pool until a couple of weeks ago. And so that was really hard. And divers around the world were, I was seeing them post that they'd never been out of the water this long. They were really scared. And so just trying to reassure everybody that it'll come back. It may be a little rusty for a couple of days, but there are ways to keep your head in the game. And so trying to teach them some of the visualization things that I've done, trying to run people through, how to handle fear, and really trying to help people, like, helped me in return, so that was pretty cool. And I had time to start a podcast. So I have a new podcast called The Pursuit of Gold, where I'm talking to other athletes and sports psychologists and nutritionists and all those things. So it kept my mind more focused on the game in a way, while being outside of the pool. So it's actually been a great time for me to learn and to grow and kind of to get back to where I wanted to be.
How much, Laura, do your children understand COVID and what's happening now?
They say they hate the corona. That's what they really don't like it. And at the beginning it was tough, especially with school at home. For the first week or two, it was kind of a fun novelty. And then it got real fast. And so we got to the point where I would have to go down to the school to pick up little packets for them. And so every day I would have a different kid like walk with me down there. It's a little over a mile away. And, we would just talk about things as we were going. And slowly they just, would come out and they'd be talking. All of a sudden it's like, I miss my friends, or I hate this COVID thing, or I don't like this. This is scary. And so it gave us opportunities to talk through it. And like, it's weird. Things are strange. Like this is history, but you don't have to be afraid of it. Fear is really, it's a mindset, and so if you do everything that you can do, there's no point in worrying beyond that, because worrying doesn't help you at all. It's not going to change anything. So do what you can control, worry about the things that you can control, and things you can't control, you have to let those go. So it was a really good, again, opportunity to talk to my kids, but also like teaching myself again and kind of just reiterating those things in my own mind, if that makes sense.